With my first MMA fight coming up in a couple months from now, I understand that no matter how good my striking may be, if my grappling isn't up to point, I won't be ready. Therefore, I've been making it an absolute priority of mine to prioritize wrestling and ground game. Therefore, what I'll be providing for you guys is full-length footage on my recent grappling submission challenge tournament. I decided to make it pretty interesting this time, so the first half is going to be completely raw and unfiltered, so that you'll be able to hear my corner coaching me throughout the round. And the second half is going to be simply a full-length footage with my own commentary on it so that you can hear my own thoughts. And post-tournament, I'll be providing post-tournament reflections on how I feel the tournament went, how it was compared to the first tournament, and how I feel leading up to my very first MMA fight in terms of my grappling and overall combative skills. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all will enjoy this episode of the arshansamimian show and another day of my MMA journey to greatness. Enjoy, and let's begin.
Don't give him the back up.
Circle, back up. Heavy on his head too, heavy on his head too. Up. Look into it. Elbows tight, elbows down. Bridge and turn.
Yeah, he can't kill you.
He's going to try to go to that side for the arm triangle. Start to get your guard back. Shrimp to that side. Shrimp into him. Breathe here. He doesn't have it. It's just a lot of pressure. Just turn into him. Keep turning into him.
He's holding you on top of him.
Keep walking to his legs and hook his leg. Walk to his legs and hook his leg. Right leg hooks his leg. Keep walking to his hips. Right leg hook his leg. Right leg hooks his leg. Keep walking to his hips.
Walk to the right.
Yes, hook it. Get ready to roll. Again, get ready to roll with it.
Hey, don't look away, turn face on and push.
Keep throwing, keep tucking, keep moving. Keep walking to his hip. Keep getting parallel. Keep walking to his hip. Keep walking to the hip. Bridge, we're fine now. Catch a quick breather and bump the hip. Bridge to bump, get ready to sweep. Over. Bridge and turn, pop and turn, up. Both in or both out. So while we're here, take your time, settle back on his heels and start to break that leg. Elbow to the heel, elbow to the side of the knee. Use that elbow on the inside thigh to break that leg up. Elbow on the inside thigh to open up his guard. Elbow to the inside thigh. Elbows inside. 2 in or 2 out. 2 in or 2 out. Elbows inside to break grip. Yes, elbows inside will break that guard up there. Hey, elbow. Hey. Elbows inside will break the grip. Hands in. 2 in or 2 out. 2 in or 2 out every time. 2 in or 2 out.
Can you look at that position? Both of you guys?
Take your time.
Go. Keep going in. 2 in. Get ready to pop your head out. If you pop your head out, you start circling that side. Keep him stacked. Keep him stacked. There you go. Now take. Stay in, stay in, stay in. Tuck your head, tuck your head. Out. Circle now, circle. Settle. Chest. Chest to chest, chest to chest.
Back to butterfly. Good.
Start to break his guard open again. Same thing. Elbow in tight.
All right. Let's get up and get to the dominant position where you can get it stuck.
Posture, posture, posture. He's going to push those legs up. We can posture. Chest up. Yep, posture. Posture up. No hands on the mat. Our hands are not on the mat. We posture up. Posture up. Elbows in on the sides of the thighs. Posture up. Posture up. Elbows tight. Break the lock on the legs. You gotta open his guard. We gotta open his guard. Breathe here and posture up. You gotta get our posture back. You gotta get your chest up.
Stop getting captured.
Right there. Stack, 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 stack. Keep walking it. Stack him. Stack him on his head. No, don't worry about that leg. He doesn't have it. Stack. Stack him, stack him.
Push it across. Push his elbow.
Keep walking him into that stack. And get ready to turn. Get ready to turn the angle here. Keep stacking him. Get ready to turn the angle when he gives it up. He's going to give it up. Keep stacking him. He's going to give it up.
Yes.
Settle back, settle back.
Come over. Up on top.
Elbow down. Right elbow down. Right elbow down. Turn into it.
Come back. Good, good.
Yes, yes. Good defense. You got to keep our posture here, elbow tight to break. Keep our posture, elbow tight in the thigh to break. Don't let him take that neck. We got to keep our posture here. Settle back, settle back. Back on those heels a little bit. Yes, now we can take that elbow, not elbow to the knee, elbow to the inside of the thigh. Tight on that elbow. And then start to circle to that leg. Start to circle to that leg. Start to circle that leg and pin it down. Stack it here, stack it here, stack it here. Stack it here, stack it here. Stack him, stack him. Up, 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 up. Turn, 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 turn.
Good job, guys.
Too far over the top, too far over the top. We're fine.
Winner by submission. Good job.
The first round didn't go as planned, but I have to say, considering that was one of the only 2 tournaments that I've done so far in BJJ, I was the most proud of it because I put up the biggest fight. This one, the complete opposite. I felt very discouraged after this one, considering I only had 2 rounds for this entire tournament. I don't know, it just didn't feel right. I felt like I was just way too antsy again. I keep telling myself I won't do this and that I'll calm down, but I guess I just kind of got overexcited here, and I think that's just something that naturally you work through with experience, because I just shot for a takedown, and I already watched this guy grapple some other rounds, and I could tell this guy had skill and he was good at baiting you, but I kind of just kind of gave it to him, honestly. I really could have defended better. And yeah, I guess it's shitty moments like these where I just get like beat up in front of everybody that humbles me, also makes me feel like shit, but also makes me motivated because I never want to feel like this again or want to experience this again, not just because other people are watching, but also for myself. Yeah. And the rest of the round was pretty much him just being actually gentle yet efficient. I know he could have broken my arm if he wanted, but I could feel and I could tell he was being very gentle with my arm. He was not one of those people that just tries to rip on you. He's very calm. You see this? And that's where I tapped. Barely even 2 minutes. Lost the match. But, I respect him. And he did a great job, and it was an honor to roll with this guy. I don't know what his name was, but I have a lot of respect for him, and it was a great round, and I know I can learn a lot more. So, post-tournament reflections, how do I feel the tournament went? I think, as always, there's a lot of room for improvements. I think I put up a good fight. even though I lost 0 for 2 my first round. My opponent was pretty scrappy, like in a good way. He put up a really good fight, and I'm pretty sure he had some sort of wrestling experience too, I would assume, based on the round. He was really explosive. I would say it felt like kind of a shock. There's a major difference between training and actually competing. I would say the first round that I showed you guys was probably my biggest shock that I've really had in a competitive match. Probably the last tournament, the guys that we're going against, I don't think they were really wrestlers. I'd say they probably just had jiu-jitsu experience, but this round really opened my eyes to what it's like to go against a wrestler who's really going at a full speed or full pace, who really does want to like beat you in the round. So I think I'm happy that I had that experience in my first round, because I know that going against somebody who just does jiu-jitsu is different than somebody who's doing jiu-jitsu but with like probably some years of wrestling in his background, compared to someone like me who's like 5 to 6 months into jiu-jitsu alone. So that obviously there's a huge discrepancy there, and it's not a surprise that I lost that, but I put up a good fight. In particular, I believe I stacked him okay. I wasn't too giving of my arms. I understand basic elbow positioning and basic defense. So I think that if I were in a self-defense situation where somebody's priority was to choke me out, I think I could defend myself pretty well against that, just considering how much I've improved and how I am better at defending myself. I'd say my strengths now are that I'm very good at defense, and it's very, very hard to submit me now. It's not like how it used to be at the beginning, where when I started, you could just quickly armbar me. Now I'm aware of the certain movements somebody's going to do. When you get a feel for it after so many rounds of training, you can feel when somebody's about to put you in an armbar, and you can plan steps ahead what you're going to do to counteract that. Is he going to put you in an armbar? Turn into him. Is he going to put you in a rear naked choke? Get your back to the mat so that you can avoid that from happening. So I'd say that I improved a lot in terms of defense. I think I can still work more on my aggression and being a little more proactive with my attacks. I think I still have a strong degree of scrappiness myself. It just comes with a mental game, learning to channel it more efficiently. Because I think as I've been watching a lot of MMA fights recently, I'm noticing that a huge part of it is psychological, like much more than I would have imagined. I remember when I would do sports when I was a kid, and I would do like swim team or like, some tennis, and I didn't realize at the time. I would, work hard, I would do what I was doing, but I was always thinking, like, why am I losing? Why am I not doing good? And I didn't realize, but a big part of it is like, it's just a mental game. Like, how am I going to really just get all of this bullshit in my head out of my head so I can focus 100% on my match and give it my all? And I think this is something personally for me that's carried over into sports and just life for me. And I think that you have to learn to master your own mind. Because what I'm seeing from like when I watch UFC or MMA fights or any fight is that a lot of these like small technical refinements your coaches teach you, like during a fully straight length punch, keep your elbow 100% tucked in when you're fighting. It's not 100% going to carry over to your fight, because when you're fighting, it's obviously going to be a little sloppy, like anything. I would assume when you're throwing a football, when you're playing football and you're on the American football team, you're not going to throw it in a very perfect spiraling way like you drilled every single time. It might be a little sloppy. Or your takedown, when you're taking somebody down on the field, it might be a little sloppy, a little rough, because a part of it is subconscious. It's kind of like a fight. So when you're fighting too, what I notice when I watch a lot of these, even the best of the best pros, where they say they have good technique, good head work, head movement, I notice that they still make some blunders themselves. Like, I'll see guys that have really good head movement. I'll watch guys like, when I watched Alex Pereira, he still like lost his recent fight. He's an absolute like killer. He's a really good fighter, but he still lost. When I watched Ilya versus Justin Gaethje, I thought Ilya would easily win that, but he didn't win. So I'm starting to see that every fighter has a lot of flaws, and a big part of it is a mental game and a lot of it does come to chance. I'm not saying all of it, but a part of it, like anything in life, comes to chance, luck, and being in the proper position. So now I'm starting to think beyond just submitting and fighting. how do I position the person I'm going against in the right way so that I can win the match? Because I've been reading a lot about strategy. I'm currently reading The Complete Art of War by Sun Tzu, Sun Pin, Ralph D. Sawyer. So now when I'm training, it's not just how do I throw this punch right? How do I just listen to my coach? It's how do I listen to my coach? How do I throw this effectively? But how do I think beyond the game? How do I mold my own style on my own? How do I develop a fight ready mentality every time I go and spar, every time I go and train? How do I pick up the things that matter that I think are important for my own style? And how do I neglect other things that I don't like? Like it could be anything, like a certain combination I don't like to throw. I don't want to give away everything because I don't know if the person I'm going to go against in my MMA fight is going to be like watching this shit and studying everything I'm saying to gather intel on me. So I don't want to say everything, but I'm starting to see a lot of things that a lot of people don't see earlier on. They just say, go and train. But if you have two equal fighters and they're both training, say every single day of the week, how do you guarantee that one of them is going to win or one is going to lose just because they're putting in more hours? For example, there's a fighter I watch and his name's Gabriel Varga, and he's a kickboxer, and he kind of talks about how he recommends that when you are in fight camp as an amateur, you do, like, for example, 45 or like 1 hour to 1 hour 30-minute sessions or something like that when you're in camp and every like 6 days a week or something like that. I don't remember. And I'm thinking, if you have a person doing that, and there's other amateurs out there that I talk to who are telling me they're putting in 4 to 5 hour days for their very first fight. And even these people that do 4 to 5 hour days sometimes do like dog shit. And you guys got guys like Gabriel Varga who might not be doing 20 hours a day, but they're still winning. How do you be that guy that isn't doing all of these hours but still winning? I'm not saying Gabriel Varga didn't put in a lot of work. He put in years and years, so he put in a crazy ton. I'm just saying, how do you be efficient? I'm starting to think beyond how do you train more? Because when I was younger, when I would lift in high school, it was who did the most sets for me? Who's lifting the heaviest? So I would ego lift. I would do things that weren't efficient. And now it's transferring over to fighting. How do I cut out things that don't matter? Like, I question everything I do. For example, is it really beneficial to show up 45 minutes early just for a couple extra light mitt rounds before a sparring match? Or is it better to preserve my energy, instead spend that 45-minute chunk doing some mental visualization work or doing some sprints pre-actual sparring rounds? So now it's all about leverage. What matters, what doesn't matter? What other things beyond just training can actually get me ahead of the person I'm going to fight, like visualization, diet, studying fighters meticulously and all the small movements they're going to do, learning about mental game, reading books on strategy that might not seem fully related with fighting, but that are related to it. So that's how I felt my first tournament went. It's kind of a philosophical rant, but I think that this second tournament of mine was an eye-opener. And how does it compare to my very first tournament? I think that it compared to my first tournament, that even though I lost more than I did in my first tournament, I think I got better. It's one of those things when you're mastering a skill, like when you are a fighter, like me, who's training to fight, and you are doing something. What I'm starting to see is that how other people perceive you and your skills is largely different from how you view your own self. Like, when I am training, for example, my coach might see that I look a little timid and maybe I'm pulling back, and he tells me that I'm pulling back. But in my own head, I'm seeing growth. I'm seeing I'm not timid. I'm pulling back strategically because I know that it's better to wait to set yourself up to throw a good shot than to simply step in range too often and throw combinations over and over and over again. There's no point in doing that. So I'd say this second tournament was a huge eye-opener compared to the first one. Because the first one, I would say my nerves were amped up a little too much. My cardio wasn't on point. I wasn't doing running then, just a month ago when I was prepping for my first tournament. I was just going through the motions and just listening to whatever the people had to say. This second tournament was a lot more listening to the people and what they have to say, developing my own style, actually thinking, like mentally stepping back. I felt a little more aware during this second match. I'd say a big part of fighting is a little subconscious. You don't remember every single thing because you drill it so much. But I think for the first time when I was in this competition, I saw something in myself that not everyone saw, and it's that I was much more aware and conscious in a good way. I noticed like the expression on my opponent's faces when we were going. If they felt like if they were a little more aggressive, if they were a little more laid back, if they were a little more serious, if they were a little nervous, if they were completely brave, however they felt, I could almost sense it. I could direct attention from myself to the person I was going against in the match. So I think even though I lost this tournament and maybe it didn't look like I improved a ton, I felt I improved a ton. I'd say my defense definitely improved for sure. I was more resilient, and even if I wasn't the most proactive person, which I definitely looked, I felt a lot more calm, composed, and aware of the movements I was making and the person I was going against. And I think that's something that falls into my style. I'm a very technical person. I'm not somebody that just likes to show up to a class and like school, just shadow box, hit pads, and lift. I like to break it apart, which is why I like one of my coaches, what we're doing. He's very technical. We don't just hit pads for no reason. We break everything down. Why should I throw a certain combination, and how do I mold my own style, which is what I think is an important aspect of somebody who's a coach, learning to individualize each fighter's style instead of telling everybody to do the same thing. And it leads me to the final thing. How do I feel now about my overall combative skills? I'd say I'm more confident for sure about my fighting. I'd say there's still things I have to work on leading up to my first fight, which is why I'm putting in crazy hours. But right now I'm putting in a lot of hours. This last week I put in 20 to 30 hours a week alone, which is including like MMA, anything martial arts related, my tournament, my grappling tournament, pad rounds, hard sparring rounds, extra grappling, wall work, boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, some wrestling, strength and conditioning. In addition to that, my own lifting, sprints, jogging, fight IQ, studying other fighters and watching fight footage, visualization practices. It's taken up a lot of my time, but I feel a lot more confident in my skills. I think that I'm a lot better at pressuring strategically. I don't just get up in your face. I can manage my range more effectively. I know how to step back. I know when to step in. I know when to throw more feints instead of throwing mindless combinations while flinching. And that's another thing. I'm able to keep my eyes more open, focus on my opponent and their specific style, whether they're a clincher, if they're a more of an aggressive boxer, if they are a person who likes to get out of range and kick me. I'm starting to get really good in my fight IQ. I don't just fight to fight. I fight so that I can observe and pick my opponents apart. So I'd say overall, to summarize everything, I've definitely become much more proficient in terms of defense, range, cardio, but something beyond that. I've become much better in fight IQ and having a strong mentality going into my training. So I can now visualize, I can conceptualize every single person I'm going against, and I'm much more hyper aware in a strategic way when I'm going into my matches and my training, where I'm a lot more intentional. So I would say for those of you who have tuned in this far, which I really do appreciate, the biggest takeaway for you guys and also for me would be being intentional with your training. So whether it be having a focus or just thinking about your training beyond it, thinking about what you learned and taking notes on it and trying to understand the why behind everything you learn, which will help you not only in terms of understanding the information, absorbing it, but helping your own self and developing your own style when you do train. So that's everything in terms of the breakdown of my matches, how I felt this compared with my very first tournament, and how I currently feel as an update about my own training skills. I'll make sure to follow up with more, sparring breakdowns, tournament breakdowns, combat breakdowns of any sort, so that you guys will stay tuned with the MMA journey leading up to my first fight. I thank you all so much for tuning in, and as always, stay blessed.